Hi, welcome to Toy Hill Studio. I'm going to do one more Blue Ridge painting. This time I want to really try to just play with some clouds and do something much more subtle. The first two were very strong in color, and I want to see if I can do something a little more subtle. I go the full range. I like real expressionistic things, and I like real soft, more impressionistic work. I'm going to start with a small brush, or a fairly small brush, and just go around the clouds. I'm so used to doing this in oils and it takes a long time, but with acrylics you can move kind of quickly. In the past I have tried to do subtle things with acrylics when I first started using them for these demos and for skyline paintings, and I had a really hard time. But I've been working with it for quite a while now, so I feel like I've gotten much more capable in working in acrylics. And I'm going to really make these clouds pretty fanciful in terms of the color. I'm not just going to have white. It's one thing, if you've ever taken any art classes, you're going to hear teachers say clouds are really hard, and yeah, they really are. They're not easy at all. You'd think they would be easy, but they're not at all. I'm just going to go around these and not worry about the shapes that I've come with at first. I'm just going to mainly just try to get a more of a subtle effect, and I am going to put color into them. And pink cloud. Do all kinds of colors into them, like when you sort of things you see in sunsets and sunrises and all. And just going to try to keep it subtle. Right now I'm already getting kind of zonky there. And see what happens. Hoping this is not going to take a tremendous amount of time, since I am trying to do something that has a lot more form to it than the other two that I've done for YouTube. That hoping that it'll move along fairly fast. And just gonna let the colors kind of happen. Put other colors into the surrounding area too. And have it a little softer than the first two. I am so tired today that I was afraid I wouldn't be able to even do one. I'm just really worn out. I work real hard at this. And I'll never forget, a long time ago, a professor saying to me, you know, if you work when you're tired, you're going to ruin it. Well, I'm so into this now that I'm hardly ever not tired. So I'm either going to paint when I'm tired or not paint at all. I have to work so hard at promoting this, and I'm going to be sending out one of my skyline paintings to a really great California, Los Angeles patron. Got to get a crate for that. And if you've seen any of mine, you've heard me complain about that. They're a real pain to make. You don't just pick up a box or just stick it in an envelope. You gotta cut all the cardboard and cut each piece, double box it. It's a real pain. Okay, now I'm going to try to make this come out a little stronger. I have a feeling I'm going to be doing a lot of this off camera because this is really taking some time. I haven't even gotten to the mountains. But so far I think it's kind of nice. Let's see if I can't get more of a reddish color into one of these clouds. I'm always so fascinated with what I see in clouds. They can just be anything. Yeah, there we go. I wanted to get a little more of a reddish color. Well, it doesn't look very red, but redder than it was. Okay, and just as I get down here, I might let them get a little more dense. I don't know. As I said, I always like to really just have fun with these. Not that I'm not trying to come up with something nice, but also like to really just let it happen in my YouTubes more than in my other paintings. My flower garden is coming along real well, but boy, is it really taking the time. It's a very complicated painting with a zillion flowers, and I am trying to really put expression and beauty into each and every one of them. So it is taking some time. Okay, well, it's definitely not real zonky like the other ones, but not quite what I was expecting either. We'll just see. I have a lot of white on my palette so that I can get more of a pastel effect this time. And as I said, I've done this in the past, and I had a really hard time getting a soft pastel effect with acrylics because I'm so used to doing it in oils, and it's a whole different ballgame. But as I've also said before, it's really nice the way you can move along in acrylics and get a lot more done quickly because it dries so fast. And my paintings are all done in many layers. Right now I'm already getting to some new layers over a long period of time, but they're done in layers, and this stuff is drying pretty much as I'm putting it down almost, so I can get to more complexity. Well, I kind of like what's going on. It's not, as always, when I do these YouTube ones, it's not what I was thinking of doing, but not what I had in my head. But I think it's coming along. And I'm hoping, let's see, it's only been 6 minutes. Oh, good. Well, that's good. I should be able to get a lot done in my, what I like to have, which is the 20 minutes. I like to keep it to that. I think I'm going to, like I said, I wanted to keep this real subtle. So I think I'm going to go back up here and not have it so yellow. And get even more of a look of a cloud. Kind of go over these two. Yeah. And clouds always have a bottom. Or sometimes they're so stretched out. Was it straight? I can't remember the name. Husband could. He's really into this stuff. The ones that are the real long, skinny ones. These are a little more cumulus. I remember that name. Okay, and let's see. I put one more there, and then I'm going to work on the mountains. I'm going to just go back and forth. I'm not going to do a lot with modeling on the mountains. And sometimes, well, always in my oil paintings I do a lot because I get to the point where you're real close in and you see all the trees and trees over the overlook and everything. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep them pretty simple for this. And, well, I am definitely keeping it subtle. So, getting the effect I want. I think we're all so different, you never know. Some people really like it to be subtle. Some people like really, really strong colors. I've noticed that in my Skyline series, people just really like the real strong, expressive colors. I guess it relates to the energy of the city. Well, I'm real happy. I think this is coming along really nicely. I'm getting the cloud effect, and at the same time I am keeping it subtle, and it's not, and to my way of thinking, it's not boring either. It's one thing we always try not to have is a boring painting. I like to really have a lot going on. As I've said many times, I don't like them to be plain. Minimalism is some people really like that, but that's not for me. I like to really get into a lot of complexity in my paintings. Wow, I didn't think I was going to be able to get such a cloud effect this quickly. Let's see, 8 minutes. Okay. Gotta get moving down there. And see, now you can see more of a shape to the cloud because these are rather fluffy clouds and I want to get them to have that real strong shape. And I really am keeping it pastel. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and work on the mountains. I'm going to do the more of the bluish green on the back range. And then change as we come forward. Yeah, I think that color green works really well with what I've got up there. Such a light, kind of delicate effect I've got going. And I do want to keep it blue though. So let's get more blue into it. Having trouble getting that right. Tired and a little sore, but we all have to face that. And I did something to my hip, and I do a lot of yoga because it is tremendous. I really highly recommend it. Keep you going. It's incredible. And it stretches it out, but then it's sore enough that it keeps going back. So keep at it until it finally goes back. I think I can use a bigger brush for this so I can move it along. Since, as I said, I'm going to keep these pretty simple. I'm not going to get into the real complex shapes that you do see in the Blue Ridge, but they can also flatten out. It all depends on the atmosphere and where you're standing, of course. If you're right on a ridge, you're going to see all those trees, and then it's going to eventually flatten out as it goes back into space, and you have dissolution of form as the dust particles, the light reflected on dust particles causes that dissolution of form so that you don't see what's really there, all those trees. Lived here all my adult life, can't imagine living anywhere else. It's just so beautiful. And never get tired of looking at the beautiful mountains. And as I've said, I don't really live in the Blue Ridge. If you want to get technical, I live in the Ridge and Valley, but very near the Blue Ridge. My husband, Clyde Kessler, is a well-known naturalist in the New River Valley, and he's always reminding me of that we don't really live in the Blue Ridge, but we're very close. He does a lot of research in the mountains on birds and butterflies, and has published many books on poetry. He's a very impressive person, in my opinion. I've never known anybody who is so knowledgeable about all these things. I think we'd all be better off if we were, because a lot of, didn't want that to get that green. A lot of problems that we have are very visible if you study what's going on. And we do need to be concerned about these things, and I think a lot of people have a very blasé, oh, nature takes care of itself. Well, not if we're going to destroy it. I shouldn't say destroy it, but we really are harming things very much. Lost so many species, and that's not right. It's their world too. And I'm always very supportive of politicians that realize that, because there are some that just want to say nothing's going on. And that if you like my husband, if you study weather patterns and things, you know that something very much is going on. Ask people in Alaska. They don't understand all this warming. They think this is ridiculous. I'll never forget, I was debating with someone about climate change and that we are putting too much carbon dioxide into the air. And he said carbon dioxide is not a pollutant. Well, yeah, if it's at the right level. But when you're piling it into the air, yeah, you are causing problems. Okay, this is really quite subtle. It's been 13 minutes. I don't think I want to do too much more. I might do some off camera. But I do want to go back into the sky a little more. And this is going to be really subtle. Very unlike what I normally do. Well, I do some subtle, but I mostly are more expressive in my paintings, because I really am what we call a colorist, real nut on color. So this is really very, very muted. It's not typical for me. I like it, but I think I like my more expressive ones better. So probably we'll go back into it, or just have something different. I am extremely eclectic, work in a lot of different mediums, and I consider myself to be very proficient in a number of them. My main one is oils. I've won awards in both oils and pastels. Those are my two main ones, but I consider myself to be quite proficient in a lot of them because I have worked very hard, and I like working on different mediums. I like switching around. I know a friend of mine said, well, you got to stick with one. It's like a marriage. Well, yeah, I guess so, but I really like switching around. Only have one life, as far as we know. And I want to switch around. Okay, I'm getting close to where I'm going to stop and decide if I want to work more on this. I think I would like to bring out the clouds a little more and I might just go wild and start getting real color, really into the color. This is so subtle to me. It is really, really subtle and very, very soft. Gotta remember, people were always saying that to me when I was in school, that my paintings were so soft. And I always wondered about that. But I think it's just that my handling of the paint does come across in a very soft way, even when in my very expressive ones. I don't know exactly why that is. It's just the way I paint. And it's very important to me to have that real soft, attractive look of the paint. Yeah, I think I'm going to quit and probably go back into it a little bit, but not much. I've got to go buy a frame this afternoon. I've got to get working on that the crate for that painting I need to be sending out to Los Angeles. So, always something to do. I think I might just stop right there. Yeah. I think I probably will go back into it a little bit and just pull up the clouds a little more and do a little bit more with the color. But it's nice to have something different. Thank you for watching. Be sure to click on the link in the description to see the final painting, because I think it's going to change some. And also there's my website, my work on Wix, and WordPress, and other sites. Thank you again.